To begin.
I'm still muted. Oh, wait, there we go. Oh, yeah. See, that's part of the show. All the little mistakes, they're all part of it.
Hey, you say it was going to get awkward. There you go.
And that's how you start off, Otherwise, what show will you be watching?
Exactly.
So, everybody, thank you for coming back and tuning into the Social Primate podcast. We got another episode for you, as you can tell. And today we have a special guest traveling all the way from a good couple of miles in the LA area. We got Al Gordon. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for coming out. I know it was it's like you mentioned earlier. It's a little weird getting into this area. Not a bad weird, but
not bad. I thought I was heading to the bike path to ride to Long Beach.
Yeah,
just the way I normally go.
Oh, okay.
So I normally enter the bike path like a mile away, then I head straight to Long Beach. So I was like, Are we going for a bike ride today? I didn't bring my bike. But anyway, it's all good.
No, well, again, thank you for coming out.
Okay.
I'm excited. Like you mentioned earlier too. So I mean, if you don't mind, giving us a little bit of background about what you do, just so the people can, know the know.
Yeah, I'm Al Gordon. I've been in the hospitality industry for over 25 plus years. Chef by trade. Now I'm leaning more into consultant. Doing more consulting with individuals. Problem solving. More training the staff, making the kitchen more efficient. Since there's so many, the chefs are no longer in the kitchen as much anymore. They're more kitchen managers, so now cooks are training cooks. So a lot is getting lost behind the scenes. So I kind of go in and say, okay, let's refine this, make it more efficient, and help with morale. A lot of time morale gets kind of bummed out because it's like you're doing the same thing over and over again. So to get some fresh blood in there to be like, this is why you do it, this is why we love it, then it kind of motivates people a little bit. So I do a little bit of all that good stuff.
I mean, is that something that's like heavy in that industry? Like just that heavy to keep that morale up?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I come from an industry where it's known like, drinking and alcohol and depression and, suicide and all that stuff happens over a period of time because there's no outlet. And what happens, I always tell people, whatever you do for a living, find something else that takes your mind away from what your regular thing is. So don't be all, I'm a foodie, I'm into food. That's fine. That's all fine and dandy. But you got to find something to take you out of it. Yeah. Or else this is all you. Once this is over, then you're pretty much over.
Like in regards to, you mentioned when it's over, you mean what they're into or what they're...
Well, when it's over, meaning like, let's say you get burnt out of cooking. I don't want to cook anymore. I don't want to see a stove. I don't want to touch anything food related. What are you gonna do? You don't have any hobbies. You don't have anything else that you remotely do. Yeah. So no matter what happens, you're kind of stuck. So you almost have to go back out of necessity, not because you want to be there. So for me, I always tell people, no matter what you do, find something else you like to do. I don't care what it is. Working in a bike shop. Volunteering at the beach cleanup. I don't care what it is. Just do something else that you can network and meet other people and something like that.
Gotcha. I mean, that's actually well, fuck, I'm getting tongue-tied here. There's actually a great point in regards to that because, again, you think you become that one thing, and it's harder for you to jump out and try those new things. It's kind of like like me, I work and stuff, and then outside of that, I still try to pursue something completely different, something that's I guess a passion, you would say, but you're still doing that other stuff. Like again, you said, to network and continue to meet those other different people that otherwise you wouldn't come across.
Right. And especially us, because we're behind the scenes. Yeah. We're in the kitchen. You never see us. Like we're back there. You would never see us unless it's before work or after work. That's the only time you'll see us for the most part. And you won't see us at family functions because we're cooking for family functions. So you would never see us. So people used to say, where do you find Al? He's either on a bike ride or in the kitchen. Those are two places. That's why my relationship's so good, because they're like, if he's not at work, he's on his bike. So he's not, at the club. He's not out anywhere. He's just at A or B. So that's the trade-off.
No, okay. So I mean, how did you get into that? How was that? What made you decide to get into that and start trying to be there for others?
Others or in the industry?
Well, let's say others. I would say
others.
Yeah.
I just realized that.
Let me turn this off real quick.
Yeah, I realized that a lot of it's a male dominated industry for the most part. But I realize a lot of guys don't have someone to talk to, let alone someone to listen.
Yeah.
So when they see someone that's been doing it for long as I have, they kind of want to know, like, how were you able to maintain, you know, your health, your fitness, your career after all these years, you know, without, you know, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything. So they're kind of like, that's odd.
Yeah.
So how were you able to maintain it? So I think by letting them know the certain things that I do, maybe they can keep it in their, they can keep it in their back pocket, use it when they feel they're ready to use it. But my thing is to make sure, like, guys are able to be heard, understood, and you have someone that actually gives a damn, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now to kind of play the devil's advocate, you know, somebody listening to that would say, like, well, why do you need to focus on men? Like, they've been the focus, you know, those conversations.
Right.
So what do you have to say in regards to that? Like, I have my own, perspective on that too. You know, I think, you know, there's definitely, whether people would like to admit it or not, there's biases, you know, in regards to how things are handled, you know,
Right.
in different, you know, because of the different, I'd say genders, you would say.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of people don't want to admit it, and they just, you know, I don't want to say they play the victim card, but they technically do play that card and say, hey, well, you've had it for this long, why do you get to complain?
I don't see it when my focal point is to just listen to men. I'm not saying it's complaining. I'm not saying it's bitching.
Yeah.
My thing is just to know, like, it's almost like sometimes you can't tell your father certain things that you're thinking about. You could tell your homeboy, but he doesn't have the knowledge of your father or your uncle.
Right.
You can tell your uncle, but is your uncle eventually going to tell your dad because he cares about you? So sometimes having someone that you don't know, you can share more with than someone you do know, because of judgment or whatever the case may be. It's almost like you tell your dad certain things, well, I didn't raise you that way. Or you tell your mom that, well, we didn't raise you. Now you're getting, whereas your homeboy's like, dude, it's all good. I've been through that last year, and this is what I did, blah, 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 blah. And that I'm just taking it to the next level beyond that, meaning we're in a professional environment. We're working in a hot, loud at times, a lot of different personalities at one time. So you got to maneuver through that. And you have managers, and you have servers, you have so many things. So my point is that whether you're in my industry or not, there's still stresses that come along with a lot of things that come on your shoulder as soon as you're a teen. When you come in a teen, okay, I got to go buy stuff for the prom. I got to get a corsage, got to rent a limo, blah, blah, blah. And that's just high school.
Yeah. And
then you got to focus like, okay, am I going to go to a trade school? What am I going to do after? So all these decisions you have to make whether you like it or not. Ain't no one gonna say, well, you know, you're a guy, you're young, take it easy. It's okay. I mean, we'll get you a job. No, there's none of that stuff. You know, when I go to a bar or a club, ain't nobody buying me a drink. I gotta have money to buy my drink. If I see someone, let me buy her. Like, the responsibilities start for a man very, very young.
Yeah.
So my point is, like, once I meet them in my environment, it's not like I'm trying to counter them. I just want them to see the way I maneuver, and they can take it or leave it, whatever they. Most of the time, they gravitate to it because I'm usually in a management role.
Yeah.
But I'm not a condescending manager, meaning like, you don't know that, what's wrong with you? You don't know that, let me show you a few times. Now, if you don't pick it up, that's on you. But I'm not coming at you as an a-hole. It's more like, this is what I'm doing, this is how I move. And, you know, I try to simplify life for them, for the most part. But life isn't simple. You know that. Yeah,
for sure. No, it definitely has its things. And I think, like you said, there's these standards that I guess society has set on that you have to meet in regards to what it takes to be a independent man, you would say, you know?
Right.
And for sure, the way things have been going as time has progressed since then, you're still accountable, you're still held to those standards, even if the roles have changed, in a sense.
Right.
But, I was reading some stuff today about, in regards to, I think we briefly mentioned this once, which I completely don't understand yet, like the red pill, blue pill kind of stuff.
Right.
So I was just trying to decipher, like trying to understand like where that came from. And again, it's, I don't how can I say it? I don't know how can I say it? I mean, does that have anything to do with how you approach things?
Well, I just recently heard of the whole red blue pill for the last 6 months, and I've been trying to. and everyone has a take on it. And pretty much, red pill is almost like a Clint Eastwood, John Wayne, a Chris Brown.
Yeah.
I don't take any mess. I make my own lane. 50 Cent. Or I'm not saying these guys are the epitome. I'm just saying as an example.
Yeah.
I don't take any mess. I'm gonna make my lane. I'm gonna stand for what I believe in, and that's all there is to it. Now the blue pill falls into place, whereas, from what I understand, a lot of young men were raised by a single family household. So you almost like, well, my mom said this, my mom said that. And a lot of times in culture, it's just like, well, just do what your mother says because I don't want to get in an argument. Whereas in the past, it's like, no, I'm your father, I'm the male, whatever, and this is what it is, and that's it. Whereas when I grew up, it's like, I can say whatever, but you got to go ask your dad. Yeah. Like, man, I got to roll the dice. Hopefully my dad said I can go do da-da-da-da. Now, if you don't have that other person there, well, what your mom says goes. It's just, there's nothing wrong with that. But then it gets to a point where when you start going out on dates, it's like my roommate went out on a date and this girl showed up late. And he told me he was going out with, I'm like, okay, make sure she knows. Give her a little extra half an hour if she's going to be late. So he calls, okay, we're going to meet up at 8. And she's like, yeah. I said, tell her 9 o'clock. No, I can do 8:30. Then it was like 8:45. And then she texted from the parking lot, I'm parking, it's 8:45. And I'm like, so my point is that what I've been doing, like, thank you for your time. I got to roll. I'm out. The same way your time is valuable, the same way my time is valuable. But a blue pill guy's like, no, let me stick it out. I don't want to be, I haven't been on a date in a while. Yeah. I may be a little thirsty. Let me hang in there and see what happens. Whereas like,
yeah, maybe thirsty.
I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah, you get a drink at the bar. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of times guys end up bending over backwards. And then if you're even in high school, it's like, they say the nice guys finish last, and I was always that one nice guy.
Yeah, I was a nice guy too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a nice person. I don't want to treat you bad just to be a-hole.
Yeah.
But I realized a guy who was always a knucklehead, acting up in class, smoking, doing whatever, he always had that bad chick. And I'm like, how you get that bad chick? And he ain't worth a damn. And I knew this back in high school.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened out of high school. You're like, how's that bad? How's that even possible? But it's like, she'll kick it with you. Thank you for dinner. I had a good time. I'm going to hit this joke up and see what he's into. I probably can't get a hold of him because he's already getting into some stuff. But, I'm not going to give you that perk.
Yeah.
So that's where the red pill, blue pill, meaning the red pill, I'm not going to take it. Leave me alone. If you don't want to rock with me, that's fine. There's 20 other people who want to take your slot. I'm good. And the blue pill guys, like they say, a woman finds a blue pill after they're 35. They're ready to settle down. They kind of hit the wall. They got a kid or two. Okay, now you're a nice guy. Let me rock with you now because my options are limited.
Yeah, right.
So that's kind of how it all came about.
So there's been a lot of debates over like the last couple of years, at least in different podcasts that I've heard, or just I guess people who are coming. There's this guy named Jordan Peterson. I don't know if you heard of him, but one of his things was that I'm just paraphrasing here, and I might not put it into context, but I'm just saying how at the end of it, we're still biological creatures, and there's biological means in what drives us,
right,
and how we got to our point now through evolution.
Right.
Whether you believe it or not, or whether you stand on one side or not, that those still are the foundation of our, being.
Right.
And so a lot of people gave him, shit for that. They blew him up, which I'm pretty sure if those people are listening to this now, they're like, what the fuck are these guys talking about?
Right.
And but again, at the end of it all, there is that biological definition of what has been said. Yes, it can change as science progresses and as you learn more, but there's still that basis of it. So, saying with the what's it called, red pill, blue pill, and how you brought up the high school stuff, like, you're in school and you see how these dynamics are at work. There's no fact and there's no lie that isn't happening, and it's real. You're wondering, and you are the smaller kid while the other taller kids are getting the attention because they are seen as that higher value male per se. And, people don't want to really see that. They just base that the moment you start talking about it, you're in the wrong and that you shouldn't, you're against them and that you're not with them.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how our conversation might even try to better that conversation, but I think it's important that we're having it, because at the end of the game, again, like for example, a few weeks ago I saw some person online. There was a girl, and she posts a post on Instagram that says, if a man can't buy me dinner, then he doesn't deserve my time or something.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I have my own judgment in regards to that. But I started going through the comments and I'm like, really like, damn, like, how can you say that and then at the same time expect to be like completely independent, or that you have no need for somebody else, but then still have or hold men to that standard that they have to be a certain way for to get something out of you in a sense. And it just made me think, like, how can somebody just be so naive in regards to that?
Okay. You look at it one way, that's true. There's a few different ways we can go about this. I look at it as a woman's going to be a woman regardless.
Right.
You know, it's like a simple thing. Let's say a quinceañera, right? A quinceañera, a girl turns 15, she gets a big party, or whatever they can afford. Gets a big party. So I was dating this chick, and I said, so what does a guy get? What does a 15-year-old boy get? We're driving, went to go visit my father. We're driving back to LA, and I'm like, so what does the boy get? You know, a hat, a buckle, some boots. Like, what does he get? And the car went quiet.
Yeah.
It was my girl, her mom, and her daughter. And I'm like, so what does the guy get? Silence in the car. It's complete silence. So I mean, that's just one aspect of it. So my point is that in all the cultures, if you figure, you know, a young girl sees her mom, goes on dates, and the guy pays. So that's her first thing. Or, you know, she's in high school and the hot girl gets lunch paid for, or she gets picked up in the guy who has a car, which a lot of us didn't. She gets, you know, well, back then you could leave the campus and go to lunch when I was in high school. You can't do it anymore.
And now you're gated.
Right, exactly. But, you know, the guy with the car always had the girl. They go to lunch and you're standing there eating your little, whatever, Twinkies or whatever, and just call it a day. But my point is that it's always been like that. So my point is, like, if you know a girl or the person you're trying to get with expect that from you, then you know where to categorize them. You know, anytime I hang with so-and-so, she's going to expect X, Y, Z. Okay? So if you know that going in, you can't be mad at her because she's just using her resources. So meaning, if I drive past her in a Land Rover with another chick, she's like, oh, wow, I got to step my game up because Al just rode through in a truck with someone else and it wasn't me. See what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that as long as you know people's roles, meaning you know how to deal with them. But a lot of times guys get upset because they're like, oh yeah, she went to dinner with him and him and him, and that's cool. But there's, you know, 10 other females that you're not even looking at right now. You know, you're not looking at that nerdy chick that wears glasses that has braces in that's going to be bad in a few years when she takes those things off. Not to say she ain't bad now, but I'm just saying that there's certain people that's going through a transition that they got good moral values. It's just they're not visually appealing to what we're used to seeing.
Right, because we have our own standards too, and that's been, you know. No,
exactly. So you can't compare Instagram model or social media model to your girl next door. It doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, the girl next door, if her standards are aiming to be that thought or whatever it is they calling themselves these days, if she's aiming for that, then that's just what it is. I just feel, as I'm always talking to men, as soon as men get themselves in that professional situation, that trade school, that whatever it may be, online courses, whatever, get yourself in that professional situation as soon as possible. Because a lot of times professional women, they're like, there's no guys to date because the further I move up in an economic
it's funny. I read an article like that.
Yeah, it's hard for them to meet men. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where we're dropping the ball. Just if you know someone's rocking a certain way, don't try to change them. If they're used to going and getting handouts, let them get their handouts. You don't focus on changing people. And that's where I think we're going wrong. We're trying to say, well, you can do better, but dude, maybe they can't. Yeah. You got to leave them in their lane. You can't want more for someone else. And that's where I think we're at right now. We're trying to coerce and tweak people. Leave them where they're at. It's okay. You can't bring everybody with you.
Yeah. I mean, and ultimately, you only have control over yourself. You know, and I think, like you said, that's something that is overlooked a lot of times because like you said, you try to change people. Like, hey, no, maybe you do this way because I don't like when you do certain things.
Right.
When in reality, it's easier for you to say, okay, maybe I got to reflect on what it is that I'm asking for, and seeing if it's actually possible, and then being realistic with those.
I mean, think about it. I was driving. I mean, you know, we have a huge homeless problem here in LA. How many times you've seen a homeless guy walking with this homeless chick next to him? Yeah. He's pushing cars, he's doing whatever. And I'm like, dude, you're sleeping in a box, bro, and you got a chick following you. Yeah. My point is that at a certain time, she decided, I need to follow this guy's program. Good or bad, I'm going to rock with this guy. And that's the same thing we got to do. Meaning, it's real simple. I do this for a living. This is what I do in my off time, and I want to treat you this way. Really simple. I always put things out in the line. Real simple. Now you can kind of like, well, I think I could change him into starting a family or getting married. I already told you. Life partnership, not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get married. I don't want to have any kids, and that's what I want to rock with. It's up to you. You decide what you want to do. But I'm not going to be sitting back here getting into arguments in the street and getting arguments via text and showing up at your job. And you definitely ain't showing up at my job.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is that you got to own that. You don't know, it's like a lot of women are attracted to military men because they have a structure. They wake up, they spread they make their bed, they have their breakfast, and they have their system.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows what role she plays. I think what happens is a lot of guys don't initiate what role you want your girl to play. What I run into is that I'm so structured, and I pretty much don't need a woman for anything for the most part. I'm a chef, so the kitchen's it's a wrap with food.
That's the main.
You ain't got to worry about that.
Yeah.
I do my own laundry. You ain't got to worry about that. My spot's always clean. You ain't got to worry about that. So a lot of times women are like, well, how can I need a job to rock with you because I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's like, my thought was like, if I'm self-contained, when you hanging out with me, you can relax. Less stress on you, less stress on me, and we have a good time. But I realized that's not the plan.
Mm-hmm. I
got to give you certain things you need to do in a relationship so you feel like you're contributing to the relationship. Because some people don't have the discipline to say, okay, you got it together, I'm going to roll with you and do X, Y, Z. They need technically a job when they're with you. But at the same time, you got to be self-contained, meaning I can't say, well, I don't know how to make spaghetti.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how to do laundry. It's like, dude, you're a grown-ass man. What you mean you don't know how to cook something?
Yeah.
You can't cook 3 dishes, spam and eggs, some rice, and call it. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, you can survive off of that.
My point is like, at least you have those 3 dishes that you can rock out and stay alive. That's and with YouTube, and we didn't have YouTube. We had a card catalog in the library. Hey, make it work.
Mm-hmm.
So my point is like, these days, a man has no excuse. But at the same time, make it happen, take it easy, but you got to stand your ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's going to hurt that she don't want to rock with you like that, but you're going to have to let her go. But I guarantee you get further ahead in your life and your career once you have your S together.
Yeah, correct.
It doesn't have to be picture perfect and shiny, but at least you have some kind of structure and you're trying to be a better person. Mm-hmm. The problem is you're like, well, she needs this, so I got to pay for this, and she needs that. She's always going to need something. Always going to need something. Very few, and I mean maybe in one hand, that could say, you know what, she was tight. She didn't really need me for much, but we rocked together because we had a mutual understanding, and that's what we're trying to get to.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because the thing, I keep thinking like, okay, while you're saying, I'm thinking, okay, what is that? What is somebody's counterpoint? And it's like, I keep going to the part that they think it's just a misogynistic idea in a sense, and in reality, I mean, in any situation you can take to an extreme,
right?
And I think unless you understand the actual, the inception of how this evolved, you're not gonna really understand it. You're gonna immediately label it as something bad, in regards to when people are dating, or you're expected to hold the door, pay for the meal, right? You're supposed to cater to them and basically, in a sense, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not the word. It's not seduce. Court them. Right. Court them into whatever it is that you want at the end game.
Right.
But at the same time, if you were to tell yourself like, okay, I know what I want, and then if for example, let's say I'm with somebody and I feel like that person's not putting what I require or what I want from a relationship as well, it makes you second guess something like, okay, well, does this person really ultimately care as much as the effort I'm putting into somebody else or to them?
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you start thinking, okay, like, what is it at the end? You could do whatever it is to that person, but what is it at the end that is having that person with you? Like, what value are you giving her in her life that says, I'm going to stay around this guy or this person, whatever, and what am I going to be putting up with because of that? So, I lost my point here. What I'm trying to say here is, how do you talk about this without it making it sound like men have to be fucking assholes or focus on themselves, selfish, to get to where they need to be.
Okay, so real simple. This is simple. It's like a counselor or something. But anyway, let's do that. If I'll let you pick whatever chick you want, and both of you guys get on Tinder or get on whatever dating app you want, and we'll go have dinner. We start this at 7:00 p.m. We start the same profile, whatever. Same, two attractive people. We'll go have dinner, spend 3 hours, come back. How many notes or hits you think she's gonna get compared to you? There's a ballpark number.
Oh yeah, that's a huge difference. I would say 1 in 1,000 maybe. Maybe that's exaggerating, but for sure it's a big ass difference. Like,
say over 100, right?
Yeah.
You might get 1, 2.
Yeah, maybe 2. If it's not spam or like, hey, join my web chat. Yeah.
Okay. So if she's used to getting attention, Facebook, Instagram, oh, you look cute in that, yada, yada, yada.
Countless people, yeah.
From all over the world. Back in the day, you only had to block. Oh, you live down the street from me? Oh, that's the bad chick down the street. You know, be trying to holler at her, yada, yada. Don't nobody have access to her. Only people on the block. Maybe in high school. Maybe she plays sports. Maybe another high school. She kind of bad, But that's it. Yeah. Maybe 2-3 zip codes, tops. Now you have people all over the world saying, oh, my God, if I go to America, it's a wrap, homie. Yeah. It's a wrap. So my point is that if she's used to getting attention from all over the world, having a conversation with that person, a woman gets to a point in life where she's done. She said, I'm tired of this. She knows what a bad boy's gonna do. She know what the geeky guy's gonna do. She know what the loser's gonna. She know already. You ain't showing her nothing she don't already know. But I think what separates the men from the younger man that's still trying to find himself, a young guy just want to smash. I ain't mad at you. You got energy. You hitting the gym. You doing your ab roller. Yeah. You got to get at your system. I completely get it. But every now and then you're gonna be at dinner, at a coffee shop, and I guarantee if you look and say, "What do you want from me?" And I usually hold their hands so they know I'm being sincere and I'm not just thinking about 1,000 things. What exactly do you want? What do you see? I mean, honestly, what do you want from me? Most of the time they're like, "Oh, damn," because guys don't ask that.
Yeah.
They're so busy. I got you here. I got this over here. I'm trying to, get this over here. Still, because I still got it. But I guarantee you, that person, when you ask her that question, one of two things she's gonna say: "I don't know," which is understandable. I wasn't thinking about it like that. Or here's my scroll.
Yeah.
And you're 90% of this, so it's a wrap. And the women know. I mean, anytime I've dated a few serious relationships, and they all want to get married. Like, what's up? Let's go ahead and jump this broom. Because they know. Al ain't messing around. He's out there getting it. And I was getting it when it wasn't even a thing. I just love to work. People hate Mondays. I love Mondays. Because I know, like, while you over there pouting because it's Monday, I'm out there getting in. My supervisor's like, damn, he coming in early?
On a Monday.
Coming in early on Monday and not clocking in.
Yeah.
Working for free. Because I want to be there. So he going to be like, oh, this guy, he's a beast. I'm good. A simple thing. We go for a bike ride and you see a hill. You're like, oh, man, a hill, Jesus. You start praying, looking at your feet, your back hurt, your neck hurt. And I'm like, I'm thinking about it downhill. The sooner I get up this thing, I'm cruising for another mile downhill, 45 miles an hour. I'm good. So what I'm saying is a mindset. Yeah. And I think it's up to you to have your mindset on what you want. Because women are ready. Women would get married to you off time. Now, as far as staying married or staying in a committed relationship, that's a whole different thing. But as far as asking her or she's asking you and being 100 saying, look, it's almost like my high school sweetheart, we dated for 6 years. I just got something too good too soon. So she raised the bar so high that I kept comparing everyone to it. Like, she was already, making her good money, taking care of me. I mean, back and forth, but she was on it, took care of me. When you said open the door, she would get dressed and G'd up before I even woke up. So she wanted to look her best for me before I even got up. Yeah. So my point is, like, she always had me in mind, like, oh, this tie, I'm going to get this tie for Alka. I think he looks good in this. Without me saying, well, you remember I got you this or I got you that? Not to say it's tit for tat, but you'll know when someone takes care of you first. Or, I got this thing. I got you to go on me. I was thinking about women know. And guys know. But I think just having that simple conversation and committing to it, then you're good. But I don't think it's a big gray area as people make it out to be.
What's your opinion on toxic masculinity?
Toxic masculinity meaning like
in regards to
I'm
like
the man and you do as I say type, whatever.
Yeah, type of thing. Because I mean, again, like it can be taken out of proportion, and ultimately what I want to do is just have a conversation where all these points you've brought up,
right.
and they're great points because that is the reality of things, as men, whether people want to accept it or not.
Right.
And so the toxic part of it was that because we have these standards that we're supposed to meet, if we don't meet them, we're not per se men, right? Like we're not going to be labeled as a full man, grown man type of thing.
I grew up in a Latin household. My dad was the main breadwinner, so it was hard for me to commit to a woman because I'm like I can't cover everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't make enough to cover. I mean, he was in the military, so they got housing, whatever, but he was able to cover everything. So my idea of a man's like, I'm covering everything.
Mm-hmm.
You just show up and, I guess, do whatever you do. And I kept breaking off relationships because I didn't think of the teamwork aspect of it. And it's still hard for me.
Mm.
So I think that's what we're struggling with is our family, our parents and grandparents. The man was the main breadwinner, but then again, back then, 40,000 was a gang of money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
You see the difference? And it was hard for me to grow with the times, meaning that was then. So when you say toxic masculinity, it just depends on who you're talking about. Meaning, if someone's in a gang and, they got their chick choked up and whatever, is that toxic to her? But if her mom and her sister and her auntie grew up that way, that's probably what she knows. Or she could say to him, look, I appreciate you hustling. I appreciate you getting out and making it happen. I want to have kids with you and grow old. We got to leave this life. We can't do this. Now, he's going to do one of two things. You know what? You're right. I've been thinking about the same thing. X, Y, Z. And I think that's where that teamwork comes into play. Because, a woman could change a man the drop of a hat.
Well, yeah, for sure.
I mean, they've ruined tons of empires, but we won't get into that. But my point is that if a guy has something to work towards, a guy will shovel SHIT for a woman to make it happen.
Yeah.
I don't care what I got to do. I'm going to make it happen. All I want is someone to come home to say, babe, I got you. You had a long day. Here's a Pop-Tart, grilled cheese sandwich. I know. Look, I'm a chef. I'm not expecting to do a 3-course meal.
Yeah.
Listen, that's stupid. But at least make an effort. And if you want to do that, God knows what I'll do for you. But a lot of people, it's not that balance. So you're right. You can't provide everything. Even if you move to Alabama, you can't provide it because the economy's lower.
Mm-hmm.
You went from making $15 there to like $8, $12, and maybe 10 there, depending on what county you're in. So you still got to maneuver. So my point is like, with talking to men is letting them know like, maybe you can't cover everything, but you could be smart about what you do. You ain't got to spend everything in the bank account. You ain't got to buy the latest iPhone. You ain't got to buy the latest, Chrysler 300 to show that leave that alone. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, if that girl's rocking with you, she's like, you know what, sweetheart, listen. We make this, why not put this away and then we move here and try to get this going over here. Something. Yeah. And that's when she's there for you. But if she's spend, gimme, that's on you. You know better. Yeah. That's on you now. That's on you.
No, that's a perfect way of putting it. You're creating that awareness. You're just becoming aware of it. So then when you see it happening in front of you, you're at that point where you decide, okay, I'm gonna go path A or path B. Right. And ultimately, then that's your full responsibility. Mm-hmm. But no, that's a really good way of putting it. And that's again what you want to create ultimately, because people need to know those narratives so they can understand. And at the end of it, everybody goes into a better place, because everybody becomes more understanding. And then, like, for right now, as an example, I do think that at some point there's going to be a backlash in regards to where the culture is going, in the sense that, right now it's gonna sound wrong, but there's a stronger feminine power right now going on socially, and which is not a bad thing. But again, at the same time, those extremists on that end are making it seem like all men are evil, hate all men, and they make those as they try to label them as truth. Like that's it for everybody.
I'm gonna give you two things that it can work in your advantage.
Yeah.
Number one, they say date a feminist because when you go, oh, you know, it's my money. Okay, that's cool. When the bill comes, cool. There's your $65. Here's my 65, and we're good. That's gonna change real quick. That's number one, because she's used to keeping her money and spending on her. So when you split everything, oh, it's all good. Here's your bill and here's my. She's gonna be like, oh damn.
Yeah.
Let me rethink that. Number two is when she goes somewhere and she sees another girl and a guy opening the car door. Like, damn, you look nice tonight. Here you go, sweetheart, get in. That she's gonna be like, oh, how come you didn't open the car door for me? No. That's equal rights. You want to do your own thing. You're a grown ass woman. You get to do it yourself. It's all good. So my point is, like, it's a good talk until they see it with other women benefiting from them. So they sit there with their signs and rah, and that's fine. But when your girlfriend and your homegirl is passing you up and she's landing that guy, because I'm going to tell you something. If I'm making a certain amount of money, I'm not coming home to argue with you. I'm going to tell you that off top. I don't have the energy and I don't have the drive to do it. I'm not trying to date an antagonist.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, if you bust your butt, you deserve that promotion. Let's go to HR. Let's see what we can do. Or maybe just decide to start your own thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we need guys to build. We build stuff. Look at any skyscraper photo back in the day. How many women you see up there on a skyscraper? Just zero. Maybe one if you're lucky. But we build stuff, and that's what we do. So if you want to sit there and knock guys down and do whatever, from now on, when you meet someone, say, listen, I like you. I think you're a cool guy. And I'm the girl talking. I think you're a cool guy. I want to get to know you, but I would be paying my own way throughout this whole relationship. If we go to Disneyland, I would be paying my $150 to get in. If we go wherever, I'll be paying my own. I mean, seriously, let's keep it 100. If you want to go there, I can go there. Yeah. Trust me, I don't mind. I like having my account real nice. A lot of guys say, man, my account was kind of swole when I started dating. It got a little lean because you're trying to court the whole courtship thing. Yeah. And I'm not saying it's bad. It's just be smart about it.
Yeah, I mean, because ultimately those are some standards that have to, you know, be taken down too. Because I mean, again, if everybody is in the position where they want to have, I'm not saying it's wrong at all, you know, but if everybody wants to be in the position where everything's equal or balanced in a way, then that means that the standards that men are held up to should also not be there, you know. And I mean, it sounds, somebody's looking at this and they're like, man, this is fucking stupid.
It's but not stupid, but it's the truth,
you know. And there is that, you know. And you know, it's still ingrained in our culture because I mean, like you said, your parents, my parents, or you know, they come from Mexico, so they had their own cultures in regards to what the man was supposed to be doing in order to provide for the family. And saying that shouldn't be the case doesn't mean that makes you less of a man. Doesn't mean that that you're, you know, poor or something. It doesn't mean anything negative. You know, it just means that you're making the conscious, you know, you're conscious and you're aware that those standards exist. And whether you meet them or not does not make you any less of a person.
You can look at it so many different ways. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna say, I have this job for you. You're gonna make 6 figures, but you got to work at least 82 hours a week. Don't even think about holidays and whatever, because you will be here. That's just part of the deal. So you go and tell your girl, man, dude, I got Al hooked me up with this gig, 6 figures. Woo, man, we're gonna be set. All right, so the first 2 months, you know, you kind of trick off a little bit of money. You trip here, trip there, you send her here, go to the spa, you do whatever. Pretty soon she's like, damn, I don't see this cat at all. Your hair starts turning gray, but you got to do what you got to. I mean, you want the job, you're going to do it. Pretty soon y'all stop talking. Pretty soon, you know, cold shoulder, maybe not hooking up as much because you're too tired, blah, blah, blah. So my point is, like, you can't have it both ways. You know, if you want that certain lifestyle, what it's going to entail. And we're not even talking about the other chicks that's going to be checking you out because you're making that kind of bread. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm just getting from a relationship point of view, but a lot of women don't see it that way. They see, like, we're not spending time together. But a guy way of showing I love you is by me getting out there and getting it. Yeah. I'm not going to come home and say, oh, by the way, I did this. You know what I'm doing. But that's not, it's never going to be enough. I realize whatever you do is never going to be enough. If you don't make enough, oh, you know, we're struggling, You go, I didn't get it. I don't see him anymore. And now you want to smash this other guy because he's showing you all this attention. He ain't got a pot to piss in. Yeah. But he's giving you the eyes and the stuff that you used to do. But you're busy out here getting it. Yeah. So you can't have it both ways. You really can't. But I mean, there has to be a balance.
Mhm.
So I never put guys in a bad light or any situation. We do what we got to do. Either you have a support system or you don't.
Yeah.
Really simple.
In regards to the like, I think social media has a lot to do with. Well, I mean, it's just accelerated that whole process of, you know, creating the situation where you're now, both in, you know, the men's position and women's position. You know, like, it's just, you have the freedom. Like, let's say for women, they have, like you said, the ratio of how many people are hitting them up compared to a man. It's a huge difference, you know, and that also makes it easier for them, you know, women in general, to be courted or to be distracted by someone else much easier than, let's say, 20 years ago. You know, like you said, you only had the people that were nearby, and you had no option but to kind of just go based off of that. But now you could have anybody coming into your inbox. I would say it falls for both men and females. You know, you can get in contact with any girls while you're with somebody, and girls can be hit on by some other dudes when they're with somebody too, and they're fucking around. You know, so I think that's it's just so young since we've had the internet. I'll still say it's pretty young since it's been around. So we're still trying to get into, you know, find a pattern into how this thing's going to eventually work. So we're all kind of like just free falling right now. But I think definitely that's part of it that's just accelerated that culture and put us where we are too, you know? I mean, with everything else, everything that you can pinpoint.
No,
Internet,
you know, everything has, I mean, we went from going out, well, I mean, I'm in an industry, so we would always, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know, you were slammed. Tickets off the rails, you know, there's a line at the door, reservation only. And then we got, you know, E24.
Yeah.
All these, you know, food platforms to deliver food. So we went from a line at the door to people ordering at home. So that changed our culture too. So we're getting it from this end.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of restaurants had to kind of revamp a few things, saying, damn, we had one delivery driver. Now we got 20 from different, you know, food takeout things. You know, the Grubhubs and all those guys and whatever. So it hit everybody by storm. It's not just, you know, women and dating. It's all of us. So as a guy again, now you got to re-navigate, you know, because for whatever job you had, maybe they're downsizing or you got to do more with less. So we all got to switch it up a little bit, no matter what.
Let me just respond here because I have the other person that's about to show up here. But hold on, I'll show you.
That's cool. I could say my little 2 cents. When it comes down to it,
yeah, go for it. Sorry about that.
I always tell a guy, or men in general, I say whatever you do, keep your cardio game up. Meaning, whether you run, I mean, I do more cycling because I stand all day in a restaurant. So my idea of cycling is I get a chance to sit down.
Yeah.
So that's my mental thing of sitting down. Your cardio game, meaning like any kind of gym, any kind of fitness, skateboarding, anything that requires you to get your t-shirt wet. Meaning that's your stress relief. And it's going to help you deal with a lot of problems. You get a chance to talk things over in your head, you know, and just clear your mind.
Yeah.
And then once you get that, that could also turn into your meditative time, meaning quiet, chill out, just enjoy life for a little bit. Just really sit back and say, you know what? I'm here in the U.S., there's not a war going on. I'm not doing a Navy SEAL training. Just sit back and put your feet up just for a second. Just enjoy where you're at. Whether you have 6 roommates or 2, it doesn't matter. Just enjoy where you're at right now. And I guarantee that's going to change your life. Guaranteed.
No, for sure. I went to a point in my life a couple of years ago where I was in, you know, certain ruts. You know, you have all these stresses that, you know, you think that you're not meeting all these things, and you know, the one thing that kind of had me getting out of there was exercise. You know, it was a perfect time to just run and focus all that energy into something and find a way to, you know, expel it from my body in a sense. And it was great. Again, it's a perfect time to think, to just gather everything and then just make better decisions, you know, and just put things into perspective while you're doing that kind of stuff. So definitely a good way to do it. And again, it's perfect for especially a guy, you know. It's you have that energy that you gotta exert, you know. One thing I wanted to bring up before we start wrapping this up, because we got like 7. That's correct, right, Dre? Yeah, we got 7 minutes for this one. Just to clarify, you know, for whoever is listening, the red pill and blue pill stuff. There was apparently a group on Reddit a few months ago, And what we touched base on again was like per se like the healthier way of approaching this concept, right? This whole explanation of it. But there's other people who have gone to the extreme side and they've become really anti-feminist, women haters, finding any ways to put that, women down. So I want to clarify too that that's not the case with what we're trying to say.
Not even.
Because again, there's always a fine line between the good and the wrong, and we're trying to find that balance where you're taking into consideration how reality is and how you perceive it, and at the same time understanding that there's certain things that you cannot change, and that you either have to change how you approach them or just find a different way. I don't know if you have anything to say.
No. It's really simple. Not everyone's going to be into you, but I think if you're always a work in progress, meaning if you're overweight, you're out of shape, start walking, and I'm talking more to men. Start walking, go on YouTube, get an audiobook, whatever you think you need. Talk to your homeboy. If he's knocking out chicks left and right, take a few notes. Don't be afraid to ask. And a lot of times our pride keeps us away from a lot of things.
True.
We should always be improving every day. I'm not saying every day got to change, but just maybe I try this different haircut. Maybe instead of wearing sweaters all the time, I get a nice little collar shirt. Maybe instead of me wearing Jordans all the time, maybe I get some nice comfortable boots to put on. And people, what you present is what people see.
Yeah, correct.
So if you're looking like, a Raider hoodie, I'm not knocking the Raiders, but a hoodie, they're going to see you a certain way. You carry yourself a certain way, there you go. So you got to start with you, though. Don't expect no one to change you or anything. You got to start with you.
Yeah. I mean, and not always necessarily you got to do those changes for a woman,
No.
For yourself. Ultimately, it's for yourself. And then once you start seeing that, you start having those things gravitate towards you naturally,
Yep.
And like you said, people notice them, and that's when the opportunity starts showing up.
Yep.
So, we're not saying yes to toxic masculinity, guys. So.
Well, it depends on the situation. Sometimes you got to get toxic to get some things done, but anyway, we're in LA, so we got to do what we got to do.
Yeah. Well, Al, thank you for coming out. If people want to just, follow you, get in contact with you, is there any way if you want people to get in contact with you?
I don't do social media because I can't have people validate my life. Unfortunately, I apologize. But just an email, algordon@gmail.com, or come through you.
Yeah.
I mean, we're probably going to be rocking this a few times, so
right, cool.
feel free to contact the show, and we'll go from there. Any questions, I'd be more than happy we could knock it out together and make it happen. Definitely.
Sounds good. Well, thank you again for coming out.
Cool.
And, just having the conversation, dude.
Thank you from the city of Bell.
Peace.
All right.